welcome to For Traveling Teens. In today's episode, you're going to meet Bennet. Bennet had some great stories from his travels, not only in the United States, but also internationally. His best and worst trip stories come from the same location in the Dominican Republic. He also shared his love of water parks, and as a result, please stick around after his interview for my short segment on the best water parks in the world. Hello, and welcome to this episode of For Traveling Teens. I have with me today Bennet. Hey, Bennet.
Hi, how are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good. Hey, Bennet, can you introduce yourself to us a little bit?
I'm Bennett. I'm a hockey player from New York.
From New York. Very cool. And how old are you?
I'm 12.
12. Very cool age. So, Bennet, why do you like to travel?
I like to travel because I can find stuff that I won't see every day. Just like finding stuff that you won't see every day, like monuments and all that. Just getting away from the normal life.
It can be. Regular life can be really busy. Do you find that your trips are just as busy as regular life, or do you slow down a little bit?
I think we slowed down a little bit, but this last trip that we just went was pretty busy.
Really? Okay. Well, I can't wait to hear some memories from it. So, Bennet, what is your favorite way to travel? Do you like to fly? Do you like to be in your car? Do your family use an RV, or do you take the train? What kind of travel do you love?
Ideally, I like flying, just like it's a convenient way to travel, but we don't usually fly. We usually drive. So,
Yeah, I agree completely. Flying is a lot more convenient. You usually get where you're going a lot faster, but it can also be more costly, especially if you have a big family. So,
yeah. Okay.
Cool. So, how many states, countries, or other places have you been to?
I've been to 7 states, I think. 7 states, yeah.
I love it. So, have you just traveled for vacations, or have you traveled because of your hockey?
I travel a lot for hockey, but it's not usually very far away. It's usually like Pennsylvania or New York or like New Jersey, Connecticut.
So, kind of in your region near New York, huh?
Yeah, near New York.
Awesome. Very cool. So, when you do hockey and you travel to those places, do you also try and see things, or do you just do hockey when you do those, and your vacations and traveling to see things are different?
Ideally, we try to do other things, but it's difficult with hockey. So It's just difficult.
I can totally understand that for sure. So, why do you think it's important for tweens and teens to travel away from their home?
I think it's important to travel because they can just get out, enjoy the sun. Maybe if you're going somewhere warm, you just enjoy yourself.
Awesome. So, it's a great way to experience different weather, different things, and just relax and enjoy yourself. I love that. So, all right, Bennet, big question. What is your biggest travel dream? Where do you most want to go and see?
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone. Why?
I just love to see like those geysers, the water things. I just like hiking, and I would love to see that.
So geysers, and then also lots of hiking. Are you excited about the animals that are in Yellowstone, or not so much?
I don't know, not really, but I'm more focused on the hiking, honestly.
I can understand that. My husband, Steven, loves to hike. And so he is looking forward to Yellowstone for hiking. I love to take pictures. So I'm looking forward to going to Yellowstone to take wildlife pictures of all of the animals. And listeners, if you are a regular listener, you might remember a few episodes ago, Aiden also loves Yellowstone for seeing the bison and doing animal photography. So tie that back in with this episode here with Bennet. So Bennet, when your family plans a trip, how much input do you have, or do you like to have when your family or your school is planning a trip?
I gotta know everything.
You got to know everything?
Anything out, unless like it's a surprise, then I can understand.
So why do you like to know everything? Why is that important?
I don't really like to be surprised. That's not something that I love to do. So I'd like to know where I'm going, how I'm going, and like how long I'm gonna be there. I just like that.
Do you get to help pick some of the places you go or the things you do, or does your mom and dad kind of do that planning and then let you know?
We actually took a vote as a family. I really want to go to Colorado, but it's obviously inaccessible because I want to see the Rockies. So we just compromised and took us to the Smokies.
Ah, so that was your most recent adventure, right? Is the Great Smoky Mountains?
Oh yeah, it was very
Awesome.
fun.
Cool. I'm excited to hear that when we get to the trip stories portion. That's going to be really great. But you had voted for Colorado. That was where you wanted to go.
Yeah.
Have you ever been there before?
No, I haven't.
Not
Unfortunately.
yet. Huh?
Nope, not yet. It's on my bucket list.
Very cool. Colorado is a very pretty state. We've been there a couple of times, but we haven't officially done it for our road trip yet. So I'm looking forward to it too. Lots of great hiking and all kinds of cool things to do. So when you are packing for a trip, like this most recent one to the Smokies or to some of the other states that you've been to, what are your must haves when you pack? I mean, obviously you need like your clothes and your shoes and stuff like that, like your hiking boots, but what is it? Just, it's not a trip without this stuff. What do you have to pack?
If I'm driving, I need a blanket.
Okay.
I need a blanket. That's one of the weird things I like. I just like it in case I need a nap.
Yes. Do you use a pillow
And
too or just your blanket?
usually just my blanket, but sometimes I bring a coat that can be folded into a pillow.
Very smart, making things work for more than one thing. I love that. That's a really great idea. So you got to have your blanket. I agree. I started this road trip with one blanket. I now have two blankets. So I have a blanket that my best friend gave me that has owls on it. But my second blanket I just got for Christmas, and it actually has our dog Truffles on it. And she looks like one of those Renaissance paintings, like she's in like a queen dress, like a princess dress. And it's super fancy and ridiculous and silly, but I love it so much.
That is so cool.
So what else do you have to have when you travel? Do you like to download anything? Do you do books? Do you do ebooks? What do you like?
I definitely do books. I do a lot of books.
You do paper books
If
or do you like Kindle books and ebooks?
I like paper books more. I don't know why. I just do.
Have you ever used a little free library on your trips where you kind of stop and you get just like a free book along the road and you just kind of take a chance on it?
I've never done that before.
Ah, well, if you're ever feeling very adventurous, they're all over the place. And they've come up in a few different episodes here on the podcast. And I would definitely recommend going to a little free library at some point. They're usually like outside of someone's house or like a community center. And then there are these free books, and you leave books and you get books and you can take them, and it's awesome.
Oh, we have one of those in our neighborhood, actually.
Yeah,
Like
perfect.
a little house thing.
Yeah, it looks like a little house sometimes, looks like a little fire hydrant other times. Like it just depends on where it's at.
Yeah.
Cool. So you love paper books, you got your blanket. That all you need?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. So I think I know what you're going to answer to your next question, but feel free to elaborate. So I know you love hiking, but what are you looking for in a location? When you have your input on the trip and you have the vote and you have things, is it just hiking or are you looking for amusement parks, food, history, beaches? What are you looking for? What floats your boat?
I'm looking for a hot area, an amusement park. Not very much a beach, but if we stay at a hotel, it's gotta have a pool.
Ah, so you love a good pool at the hotel. We literally just checked in to our hotel here, and there's a beautiful pool outside. I'm very excited. It's an outdoor pool. It's going to be so nice. So you need a good pool. And you said an amusement park. Do you love roller coasters?
I'm not like very adventurous with the ones that go upside down, but I like the occasional drop and then up and then down. You know.
So see, those are my worst. The up and the down are the ones I hate. I like ones that go round and round. Anything that like sticks you to the wall or like squashes you into somebody, I love that. I don't want to go up and down.
Yeah, I do too, actually.
I'm a huge chicken. I don't want to go up and down. I want to stay as close to the ground as possible, but you can spin me round and round as much as you want. I won't throw up.
I never throw up on rides.
And then you do love hiking, you said.
Mhm.
What is the best hike you've ever done so far?
It's probably the Smokies. We went mid afternoon, like 3. I think we went at 2, and it was cloudy out and it was foggy, really foggy.
Ooh, sounds mysterious.
So
Cool.
on the way up it was fine. There was a little bit of sun, but then on the way down there was a lot of smoke or fog.
Wow. Was it really hard to see?
Oh yeah, it was very hard to see.
Were you worried about like bears and stuff?
Not really, but sometimes burnt tree stumps looked a lot like black bears.
I have been there. I have thought tree stumps are many a thing, let me tell you. Because I'm always looking for the animals. And so I'm always like, yes, animal. No, rock. Yes, animal. No, stump. All right. So now that we're talking trip stories, tell me, it doesn't have to be from your Smokies trip, but it totally can be if you want. What is your all-time favorite trip memory?
I'm gonna have to go with our trip to Punta Cana.
Ooh, tell me about it.
So I was in the Dominican Republic. We went. I think this was a couple years ago. We went there multiple times. It is paradise. All year long, 80 and sunny. It's so good. And there are buffets, all you can eat, all the time, 24/7. So good. But then there's the beach, which is a very big beach, very fun beach. And then there's a huge pool, and it was so fun. But then the
Oh,
best
that
was,
sounds amazing.
but the best part was there's this huge water park.
Really?
I spent many a days there.
So, what do you love about the water park? Because I'm a huge water park fan. As much as I don't like roller coasters, I love water parks. So, tell me what you love about the water park.
It was an odd life, but I had they were like long twirly slides. I didn't really love those. There's this two white slides, and it was really short. It just went down, and then it shot you into the water. It was really weird, but I loved it.
Ooh, that sounds really, really awesome. Oh man. Oh, and so that is your favorite trip memory, this wonderful place with the waterfalls and the beach and the sunshine.
Yeah. There were also performances every night, like a
Ooh.
Michael Jackson person, and like there was also karaoke. So
So was this a resort or did you go here on a cruise?
it was a resort. It was a resort.
So if you feel comfortable sharing, Bennett, what is your worst trip memory?
It was actually in the same place, if you can believe it. A couple of years. This was our first time going there, and I got the worst sunburn ever.
Oh,
It was so bad because I put on sunscreen every like 3 hours, not 2 or 90 minutes or whatever it is. So I got so bad sunburn that we went back to the hotel, and my dad opened the window, and it was too sunny. I'm like, close it. And I closed it, and I was like, it's too cold. And I was very uncomfortable.
oh my gosh, I can totally relate to that. So I have been a medium to bad sunblock user my whole life. I have really fair skin and freckles, and I am not a great sunblock user. I try to be, but I'm not. And just recently, we went to White Sands National Monument in New Mexico. It's this big, beautiful place, and it's full of gypsum sand, and the sand doesn't get hot. It doesn't matter how hot it is outside, it doesn't get hot. But I forgot sunblock, and I was like, uh-oh.
Oh
it
no.
reflected off of the sun. And so the whole back of my legs were burnt. My arms were burnt. Everything was burnt. I woke up the next morning and my eyelids were burnt. I had
Oh, that.
hot
Oh,
pink stripes on my eyelids. So
wow.
I can totally relate to that being one of your worst trip memories for sure. You would think
After that trip,
I would learn these things, but alas, I have not. What were you saying?
I used SPF 2000.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm a big user of
Every
like
time I go.
50, and I use it often for sure. And then a
Oh, yeah.
year goes by and I forget how bad it is to be sunburnt, and then I get sunburnt, and then I remember for a couple of years.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you have any other funny or interesting stories that maybe aren't your best or your worst, but you want to share with me?
Um. Oh, I would like to share. This one is kind of funny. So, in the summer of last year, it was obviously COVID, but we really wanted a vacation, and we were getting renovations in our first floor. So we decided to go to Gloucester, Massachusetts. So it was a great place. It was a beautiful drive, and when we got there, we got to the hotel. It was like this beach house resort thing, inn or whatever it's called, and there was no air conditioning.
Oh,
It was 80. It was like 80 degrees, and all night. It was like midnight. We are all awake, and we were like, "No, we can't stay here."
oh no.
So
Oh,
we ended up moving to a different one that was a lot better.
oh, good. How long did you stay?
It was a week, I think, 7 days, because we had to be back for the renovations.
Yeah. So, what was the
hmm
best thing about Gloucester, Massachusetts?
So we're big runners, like we love to run, and there was this beautiful trail right on the ocean. There's like this bay, and it's paved, and there's like a monument that you run by. It's really cool.
That sounds cool. I'm gonna have to look into that. I don't think I've ever been there, and we haven't done Massachusetts yet, so I'll have a look at it.
It's fun. Really.
So, big question, Bennett. You mentioned earlier that you loved the resort you were at because there was like 24-hour buffets and stuff. Are you an adventurous eater or not so much?
At home I'm very picky, but on vacation anything goes usually.
What
But
is the best or worst thing you've ever tried? Like the most outrageous?
oh, this is actually on Gloucester in Gloucester. We had this shack. It was like a crab shack. We ate outside, and I had a crab stuffed avocado.
Ooh, how was that?
Oh, good. It was like it was so good.
So you like to eat seafood and things like that?
Yeah, I love sushi.
Ah, I love sushi too. It's amazing for sure. Anything else interesting you've tried on your travels?
Um, Not really, but just same pasta.
But you're open to it.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
hmm
I like it. I like a good adventurous eater. And it's one thing at home to be choosy. It's another thing to have like all kinds of stuff just put out for you and try things and stuff. So if you
Yeah.
make it out to Yellowstone and you find out that places nearby have like bison burgers, would you like try that?
Maybe. But I'm also pescatarian, so like I only eat fish and
Okay.
white meat.
Oh, okay.
So I don't really eat a lot of meat.
Okay. So maybe not that, but you'd try something else maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay. Well, I will just give you this tip, and I'll let listeners decide, and I'll let you decide if it's something you want to research. Um, if and when you get to Colorado, make sure that you know what Rocky Mountain oysters are before you decide whether you want to try them or not. But being an adventurous eater that I am willing to try them, but I haven't had them yet. So I'll let you look those up and figure out if that's something that you would want to try or not.
Oh, that I'm scared now.
You should be a
What
little
are
scared.
they?
For sure, you should be a little scared. Yep, they're definitely one of the more adventurous things that I'm willing to try and eat. and I've eaten sea slug. So if it's pretty adventurous for me, it's pretty adventurous.
Wow.
It just kind of tasted like salty Jello. All right. So when things come up that you aren't as comfortable with, I know you mentioned that you're a pescatarian, you love to hike, things like that, but and roller coasters, you know, you're not a big fan of some of them and things. When things aren't going how you'd like, how do you deal with that? Like, how do you deal with fear or even just nervousness or anxiety that comes up when you're not sure about something?
When I'm not really sure about something, I kind of try to push through it, but sometimes it gets too much, and I like tell my parents, and they take it home. But usually, like for roller coasters or like eating stuff like that's adventurous, no one else really does it. I'm the only one. Usually, when I go to amusement parks, it's only me. Sometimes my dad's like really me.
Cool. So you kind of push through where you need to and you kind of step back, but you sound like you're the one kind of pushing things out on the family trips.
Yeah.
Love it. So now that we're kind of talking about, again, kind of back around to like planning and trips and advice, what is something that you want parents or teachers to know when they're planning a trip that's going to be for teens or tweens? Like, what do you want them to know?
Do something that they want to do. Like, ask their input. Because what I've learned with over the years of traveling, when, like, this is when I was younger, I've gotten over this. But when kids don't want to do something, they whine a lot. And it ruins the trip.
So by getting input, you hopefully will avoid some of the whining and have a better trip.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You don't whine though, I'm sure. No.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Your parents have learned and they get your input.
I used to. I own to it. I own it.
You don't seem like a whiner to me. You play hockey. You're pretty tough. You like to hike. You know, you seem pretty tough. So what would you say to other teens and tweens who aren't really sure if travel is for them?
I would just say go out of your comfort zone. Just try things. Like even if it's like going to a place where it's near where you live, like maybe it's just down the highway, just try it. Try stuff that you like. If you don't know what you like, just try it. Try random things.
Why do you think it's good to get out of your comfort zone?
It builds character.
That is a perfect answer and a perfect place to finish our interview. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, Bennet. I loved hearing your stories.
Thank you for having me.
In today's interview, Bennet mentioned how much he enjoyed going to the water park. I love water parks too, and thought this would be the perfect opportunity to dream about some of the biggest and best water parks around the world. Some are still closed due to COVID-19 because of the pandemic, but don't let that stop you from adding them to your wander list for the future. There are two water parks where I grew up in Hampton Roads, coastal Virginia, Ocean Breeze in Virginia Beach, and Water Country USA near Busch Gardens in Williamsburg. I still have a soft spot for Water Country USA, and I go there whenever I'm home in the summer for a visit. My favorite ride there is Malibu Pipeline, and has been since they introduced it when I was pretty young. And it is an inner tube ride that you sit in, and it's almost completely entirely in the dark. It's just amazing, and it's still one of my favorite rides. I ride it several times when I go there. I hope they never take it away. If you're listening, Water Country USA, please never get rid of the Malibu Pipeline because it's amazing. But now on to some more adventurous water parks from around the world. So I checked out a few articles, and several parks turned up on both lists, starting with Siam Park in Spain, which has been listed as the #1 water park in the world on TripAdvisor for 7 years in a row. Many water and amusement parks have a theme, and Siam Park is no different. It's themed around the country of Thailand, and it was opened by one of the princesses of Thailand when the water park opened. It is in the Canary Islands off the coast of Spain and Africa. Blizzard Beach in Orlando, Florida came up as well, and it's themed like a winter ski resort that's melting. Obviously, because it's near Disney, You have Olaf wandering around from the movie Frozen, and it is one of the highest water slides in the world, the Summit Plummet, which is 120 feet tall. Aquaventure Water Park at Atlantis in the Bahamas is home to the Leap of Faith. Now, it's not nearly as tall as the Summit Plummet. It's only 60 feet, but it's almost vertical. And in the see-through tube that you go through, it takes you through a lagoon of marine life, including sharks. I'm really nervous about any kind of those steep drop slides that are really steep. So I don't know if I could do it, but the promise of going through a tube through marine life is kind of exciting. We've mentioned the Great Smoky Mountains on the podcast a few times, and it's also home to Dollywood's Splash Country. It's listed as one of the top 10 water parks in America. The largest water park in Asia can be found at the Water Cube in Beijing. It was formerly the National Aquatic Center for the 2008 Beijing Olympics, and it's now home to all kinds of amazing slides and rides. Continuing kind of around the world, we also have World Water Park in Canada. It's the second largest indoor water park in the world and has the world's largest indoor wave pool. Obviously, being situated in Canada, it makes complete sense that they would have indoor water parks and that they would be amazing. There's even a 10-story bungee jump that you can do over the pool. Brazil hosts the largest water park in South America and two of the tallest water slides in the world. The tallest water slide currently in the world is Kilimanjaro at Aldeia das Águas Park and Resort, and it's 164 feet high. There was another park that had a higher slide for a while, but it is now permanently closed, and so the Kilimanjaro is the world's tallest water slide. The other one is called Insano, and it's at Beach Park, and it's 134.5 feet high. And for a while, that was the tallest water slide as well. To round out our water parks from around the world, you might enjoy checking out Yas Water Park next time you're in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. It has water coasters that can hold 6 people, a suspended water roller coaster. So water coasters are kind of like when you've ridden on like a water slide in like an inner tube, but these have gears and mechanisms that make it go a lot faster. A suspended water roller coaster, which they are touting as the only one in the world, is where you're sitting in like a dangling roller coaster, but you're also getting sprayed with water cannons and things. Sounds like an interesting fusion of kind of amusement park roller coaster and water ride. And finally, you should probably check out the Slither slides. They spit you out, pun intended, out of a snake's mouth between the fangs. You can even surf and bodyboard on their simulated waves, and the one that you surf on has the largest sheet wave in the world. So those are just a few of the amazing water parks that you can find around the world to add to your wander list. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please consider leaving a review wherever you are listening. And if you are a teen or tween, anyone between the ages of 11 and 19, and are interested in being interviewed and sharing your stories, I would love to hear from you. So please reach out at thetravelingteach.com/podcast. I'm Shae Pepper, the Traveling Teach. At the time of this recording, I'm on a 5-year, 50-state road trip around the US, although with COVID, it's going to end up being 6 or 7 years. Darn you, COVID. But I travel full-time with my husband, Steven, and our dog, Truffles. I'm a professional youth worker and online educator. I'm passionate about learning on location and want to bring that experience to as many young people as possible through my virtual field trips. To learn more about my travels and online classes, go to thetravelingteach.com. To follow Truffles' travels, our trip from her perspective, which I am sure is infinitely more interesting to most of you than I am, go to @TrufflesTravelsUS on Instagram. To be a guest, tween, or teen on the podcast, just reach out at thetravelingteach.com/contact. This has been an episode of For Traveling Teens, a podcast for teens and tweens who love travel, whether they're actively traveling or just dreaming.